What's going on, casuals and hardcores? This is Ryu bringing you a game based on Ryu somewhat, Street Fighter V, okay? So, it's hard to be nice about this, but this is from casual to basically intermediate gameplay. I've been playing Street Fighter since 2016, and Street Fighter V since 2016, and I have to say, overall, the experience has been kind of trash. Some people will defend it to the end. I don't. This is basically a huge money grab, big time. This is the setup for esports. Capcom has kind of proven that their fan base is kind of trash, and they have milked the Street Fighter titty to the end with this game. I don't think I will ever invest as much money again in the abuse of my love for Street Fighter. And that's sad. And I'm not trying to rant, man. I'll tell you the good things about it too in a minute, but it's best to get the bad out of the way. First of all, the game is incredibly incomplete from the get-go. 16 characters to start, about 15 to 16, and you ultimately end up with 40 plus. I think around 50. It's hard to, I don't remember exactly. Obviously you can Google that just to clarify, but it's terrible. They nickeled and dimed this game. If you calculate how much it takes to pay for everything, it's well over $1,000. Way over $1,000. That should not be the lead in fighting games. It's amazing how much money they made off of this, you know, and then they still want to increase prices. You know, that's obviously a segue to another topic, but it's pretty shitty. I love the art in it, to be honest with you. The conceptual art, such as the cover, Ryu is so ripped and buff. You don't necessarily see this in the game. That's common with other games. It's more closer, a little bit closer to that type of style. Yeah, man, was a hard game to get into. And I just have to say something, man. Ryu is such a fucking middle character in this game. Never good, never great. There's some people who took him to extraordinary lengths, but there's just other characters that just walk over this character. I don't know if the Japanese hate themselves or something, but they really downplayed their main world warrior, the guy on the fucking cover. It's really odd, man. Every character, and don't get me wrong, maybe they do that to get you invested in other characters, but that's not cool, man, especially for Ryu players. There's certain moves he should have had from the beginning, which he had in Street Fighter 3, which he doesn't get until 5 years later in this game. That's another thing, too. To play a game for 6 years, a fighting game, and dedicate yourself to that, you could have been a black belt in almost any martial art. Almost any martial art. You could have been a real badass rather than be the one on online playing esports. Not that that's not competitive in its own ways, and obviously that's for certain people, but people get out there and compete, man. That's another thing too. This thing does do a good job of making it feel like you're a fighter. When you lose hard, man. You gain nothing from effort going up against some of the best in the world. Literally. It's all or none. It feels selfish and it's pretty personal. I can't tell you how many people have quit online playing me, and I must admit I quit once or twice, but I got over that shit. You have to learn. This game is not something casuals can just walk into. You got to practice every day to get better and better so you just don't get humiliated online. And the worst part too is like your rank, it's not individual rankings per character. So say you're badass with Ryu and you go in there to play as Ken and you're just not that good, it still counts as if you're a badass. And there's this little thing that lets you, little basically number gauge that lets you know how good the player is, but it's just hard to practice when everyone's just mauling you. You know, there's some practice options and this and that, but even then it's just hard to get into. I.e., basically, little word of advice, if you want to change the setting to hard arcade, you got to go into arcade. There's no settings at all in the options menu. You can look all day and you won't find an options for it. You have to go to arcade mode, and that's where you can adjust the difficulty. I felt kind of stupid on that one. But yeah, man, there's a lot of potential in this game. Some of the backgrounds are just trash. I mean, atrociously bad, especially for a PS4 game. Some of the character models are dope as fuck, and I love the introduction of new characters, such as the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artist, the Aztec warrior, aka Mexican. You know what I mean? The Arabic. I mean, it's great. This stuff has great representation, in my opinion, and makes being whatever you come from feel cool. And so, kudos to them, man. Like I said, Street Fighter's got some great art. It's got pretty decent personality. I just wish there was more. I don't think the story mode is as bad as everyone bitches and complains about. I think they need to kind of settle in and realize this is Street Fighter, you know, World Warrior shit. But man, those complaints I had are just too much of a thumb sore, man. This is a 60 to 70% online only game. And you know that from playing from the beginning. And that's so terrible, man. That means only a select amount of people can actually get the most out of this game. If you're not hooked up online to anything, you can't accumulate points for your hard work to use the fighter money to buy stuff. Even if you get the season passes, even if you get everything, there are still passes you have to pay for. This is the biggest cash grab, and it sucks to be a Street Fighter fan in this era because you were probably milked just as bad as I am. Yes, it was my fault, man, but I'll never make that mistake again. When 6 comes out, man, I'm really limiting myself to what I get. But like I said, man, this is probably not for casuals. If you are one of those casuals who really is like, well, I can do it, well, good on you, man, but you gotta practice, man. Prove them wrong. You know what I mean? Make your B tier character beat the shit out of the S tier characters and tell them Ryu sent you. You know what I'm saying? Fuck them. All right, this has been my review. I hope this has helped, man. I hate to thrash on it, man. I love Street Fighter, but you won't gaslight me. Sony, oh my God. Sony especially gaslights people all the fucking time with their games, and I can't stand that Capcom does it too. All right, guys. See y'all next time.